Good morning, everyone, or afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is. Okay, we got 5 minutes till noon here in Maine. For my friends on the East Coast, good late morning. For my friends on the West Coast, good mid-morning. Thank you for joining me here on Candy's recovery journey, and where we discuss addiction and I let you into my life. I have to adjust my camera because it looks like I am staring off sideways. Now, that might be a little better. Anyways, today I'm just going to play around with some makeup and shoot the bull and do whatever because I can. So, I'm going to start with my pimple cream. And I just kind of put that all over.
Hey, grandparents, I need to talk to y'all for a minute.
I don't know what that was, but apparently it was very urgent for grandparents. I'm not a grandparent. I'm a parent. I hope I'm never a grandparent. Whew. Anyways, so today I am 9 months and 13 days clean. So I'm almost at the halfway mark. Almost doesn't always count though. So today I'm going to use my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Primer in Dewy. And you can basically get that at any drugstore. It's relatively cheap. I think it cost me right around $5. And I just kind of put that all over my face. So, what do we want to talk about today? Let me think. Well, we could talk about my heroin addiction and my last relapse as to how I got back into recovery. So basically, just over, now, it'd be about a year and a half now, I was in a MAT program, and things were going relatively well for the first 7 months, I would say. And then all of a sudden, I had one bad day. One bad day where I decided to say, fuck it. Threw my hands in the air. My boyfriend was in active addiction already, so getting heroin or pills was not too hard. So I had him call the dealer. And by then, this was Christmas, I want to say. And I had gotten into an argument with my boss. And I went home and had my boyfriend call the dealer, and I sold what Suboxone I had left and got some dope. Heroin. Well, one bag made me feel pretty good, so I bought another one, and then another one, which started the downhill slope. And from there, I started doing things I shouldn't have done, meaning that I was stealing from people and places I shouldn't have, yet I was not feeling any form of guilt about it. I actually feel terrible about it now, but back then I didn't. So, that particular time I took enough money to buy what's called a finger of dope, which is 10 grams. And that lasted me about 7 hours, I want to say. So I called the dealer and I had him bring me over more. And he fronted me the next one. And I promised to pay for it that night when I got out of work. So I had another 10 grams. And I had decided that I needed that to get all the way through work. So I paced myself. About every 3 hours, I do a gram. And I got home from work. I had taken money again. And when I got home, I called the dealer, who was more than glad to come over at 10 o'clock at night. And I paid him and bought more. And that became my daily habit for 13 months. I did that every day. And at that point, I was feeling no guilt about what I did. I wouldn't tell anybody what I was doing. I lied to my boss that I wasn't on drugs, that it was just new medication my doctor was trying me out on. And that's why I was almost falling asleep the way I was, when in fact, I was so high, I don't even know how I was functioning at all. Well, eventually, my work started suspecting that money was coming up short and deposits were missing, and crazily enough, it would only happen on the days that I was working. So they went over the camera footage and thought they had enough to fire me on, which was their decision, and they did so. And that brought me to having no money, no way to pay for my habit, and the only option I could come up with was to start selling for my dealer. And that didn't work out real great either, because then I started doing the product and not selling it, and taking out of the bags that I did sell, and overcharging people, and, whatever you could do to keep your own habit going. Well, eventually, my dealer found out what I was doing and was not happy and cut me off. And I went sick for a few days, to the point where I thought I was going to die. Quitting heroin cold turkey is not the easiest of things to do, nor is it any easier when you've combined a heroin habit with a benzo habit and an alcohol habit too. So I was really, really sick. Really sick. And I had decided to call around to different detoxes, and I found one that, forgive me, I need to have a sip of coffee because life begins after coffee, I found one that would take me, and I just had to get down there. It was about an hour and a half away from where I live. And so I started calling people and couldn't find anybody that was willing to take me down there. So I called 911 and asked the dispatcher there if 911 was dispatched, if they could in fact take me to the detox, or would they have to just take me to the local emergency room? Well, it just so happened to be my luck that my paramedic that night also had family members that were addicts, and he called the hospital and he did not ask them if he could bypass the hospital. He told them he was going to. And decided to take me straight to the detox. And I'm just using a Beauty Accents Total Face brush here. Have to use my loose powder today because I don't know where my pressed powder is. But we'll make do. So, my saving grace, as I called him, took me straight to the detox, and they got me right in. And I spent about 18 hours in the behavioral emergency department being watched, making sure that I wasn't going to drop dead.
This kid is pretty damn good fucking lucky.
And
Graham, come here. Hello, YouTube.
From there, I went upstairs to the psychiatric floor and was monitored and taken care of, and then I was released and I came home. The point of that story is if I couldn't have gotten into the detox that night, I was not going to wake up the next morning. I was going to commit suicide. I had a plan, and I was very serious. So I'm very, very thankful and very grateful that I did get into the detox. So I got out of the detox, and I was on Suboxone, and I called the doctor that I was in the program with before and begged her to take me back. And at first she didn't want to, but she had given it some thought and called me back the same afternoon and said that she would take me back, but it was going to be 3 or 4 days before I could get in. So what I had to do there was I had to buy my Suboxone off the street, which is not a big deal. I've done it several times before just to keep from being sick when I couldn't get dope. So I called up people I knew, and I got enough Suboxone to last me until I could get into the doctor. And that's what I did. So I go to my appointment, and the doctor tells me that she had some reservations about working with me, but she would give it a chance. And thank God she did, because I don't think anybody else would have taken me. I didn't have any form of health care back then. I'm sorry, I'm just using my highlighter stick right now. And that is by LA Colors, yet again, another drugstore brand. A lot of my stuff is either Broadway or LA Colors or Wet n Wild, because that's my budget. That's what I can afford right now. So, and that I just kind of pat and drag. So she gave me a chance, and I got my prescription, and like I said, I had no health insurance and no way to pay for anything right then, so I had to sell a few of them. Now, mind you, this is the beginning of my recovery. I was maybe a week clean. So I sold just what I needed to be able to cover the prescription, and then I took the rest myself as my doctor wanted me to, minus the little pieces I would give to my boyfriend at the time. And then I got to the point where the 12 milligrams that I was prescribed was really not working for me. So, I asked for an increase. Some of these are so hard to open. So, I asked for an increase, and at first, she wouldn't give it to me. And I fought for months. Months and months and months and months. And it wasn't until I was 6 months clean on that dose that I found Nicole's channel. You know, I had my hands up in the air. I don't know what I'm going to do. This isn't working. I'm thinking about relapsing. I don't want to do that. And I found Nicole from Real Talk Recovery. And we started talking, and I emailed her. She asked me to email her, so I did. And we started talking, and she helped navigate with doctor, and I was getting the increase that I have needed. So for the last 3 months, I have been taking 16 milligrams a day, and that works pretty good for me. You know, now I'm not thinking about going out and, you know, getting anything extra because I'm still feeling like crap. I actually feel pretty decent. And, you know, had it not been for her, I probably still would be struggling with that dose, wondering what I was going to do. Did I need to go find a new doctor, somebody that would listen to me? And what we found out at that appointment where I got my increase is that this doctor was judging me on my past performance in her program, judging me based on who my boyfriend was because she was in his program and they just did not have good rapport, judging me on people that she heard I was speaking with still, people my boyfriend was letting come into the house because he wasn't in recovery yet. He was still active. And what I would do is lock myself in my room. I wouldn't come out. I wouldn't interact with these people. I would have nothing to do with them. So, basically, we had what I call a come to Jesus meeting. And in that very moment, I was Jesus. I was pissed. And I friggin' told her so. I said, look, this is not how you treat people in recovery that are trying to get help. You don't sit there and judge them on their past. You don't judge them on who their boyfriend is. You don't judge them based on who they say hello to. You just don't do it. And if that's how you're going to treat me, then I am going to find another doctor. Point blank. Done. Don't give a shit. So, I got the increase, and that's been working, but this doctor still wants to see me every 2 weeks. 9 months of being with this woman, every 2 weeks. So, that's what I do. I don't like the idea, but that's what I do because that's what I have to do. So, I've been doing that. I have been working my steps. I have been working with Nicole. I actually help her over on her Facebook page by doing the morning meditations. And that's drastically helped me. And from what I understand and from what other members tell me, it's greatly helped them too. So, that's what I've been doing. I'm sorry, I gotta fix my camera. It's kind of hard when you don't know exactly where to look. So, what I do is, I do the morning meditations, and I also, when Nicole's doing a live stream on her YouTube channel, I go in there too, and I do what I have to do to maintain my recovery. And I do go to some meetings, but there's not really a lot in my area, and the ones that there are not very good quality, to say the least. So, I'm sorry, I'm knocking my makeup all over the place. So that's what I do. Now I'm going to go into my CoverGirl Chocoholic contour palette, and I'm just going to take this middle shade here, and I'm going to contour my face, and then I'll highlight. I need my mirror for this.
Did I do that right?
Maybe I need to flip my mirror over so I can see the good part.
No, that'd be smart, mother.
I'm sorry, the world's crappiest mirror.
I will hold it.
So, if any of you are struggling and you need support, I am here. I will put my email address in my information area, and you can reach out to me there. And I plan on going live on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday nights. So if you guys have any ideas of anything you want to talk about, go ahead and drop it in the comments. And we'll go from there. Nothing is off limits and nothing is taboo. And this will be adult time. So we won't have to worry about what's said or not said. Now I'm just doing the highlight out of that same palette.
Isn't there 2 highlights?
And I just go down my nose.
You should use a smaller brush for that, Mama.
And then I wipe across there and across there and kind of try to blend it in as much as I can, but I'll fix that at the end with my big brush.
This one. But I'm bored.
Alright, now I'm going to go in with my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer.
Didn't you just bronze?
And for that, I just use my Beauty Accents all over blending brush again. And what I do is just go all over my face with that. And I still haven't done my eye makeup yet, but we'll get to it. This kind of just gives me some nice color.
I don't know who it is.
Alright.
I'll take over for a few minutes.
No, I've got it. I'll call back.
Did I do the headband right?
Yes.
Okay. Mama, I had ravioli.
Mm-hmm.
I get very excited about ravioli.
Alright. There is that one. So
Eyeshadow.
I don't need that highlighter because I just used my other one. So now what I'm going to do before I do my eyeshadow is I'm going to kind of blend this so I don't look so incredibly crazy. And to do that, I kind of just drag it along my skin. Would you stop? I'm running out of storage space on the cloud.
Mama's room. Y'all, she won't let me take pictures of my ravioli.
Just as if we need to. Okay. So now I'll go in and where is my spoolie? There it is. And I kind of just comb my eyebrows down. That way it's a little easier for me to fill it in. And with that, I just add a little bit of color. Not crazy like, but... And then I take the spoolie again. And just comb it over and through so there's no clumps of makeup. Dead giveaway is if you don't blend it, it's gonna look clumpy. And then everybody's gonna know that you colored in your eyebrows. Alright. Now, for my eyeshadow. Today I'm going to use my Magnifies Rainbow Edition from Rimmel. And I'm also going to be using my Profusion Cosmetics Festival palette. I showed this one the other day, but I'm really a big fan of it, so... Make sure I take my film off it. And I'm going to grab my big blender here. And I'm going to go into that color on top called Winning. It's the lightest one. And I tap it off and I just go side to side like a windmill. And it kind of makes it look white at the moment, but it won't when we're done.
I missed my bowl hat.
Like I said, kind of looks a little bit white to begin with, but it won't when I'm done. And now I'm going to go in with my bright yellow here. This one. And that one is called Sunny. And I'm just going to sweep that across my crease. We're going to do the other eye with the same thing. Alright, and then I'm going to go into my Rimmel Rainbow, and I'm going to use this darker green here. And that's going to go along the bottom. Sorry, my nose is running today. I'm sorry, you guys. I said I know this wasn't going to be a kid-friendly video, but we'll figure it out. Sorry. You're fine.
Oh, I'll go. 16.
You're not an adult that needs to hear all this either, so be mad at me if you want. Alright. And that's kind of what that looks like so far. And then I'm going to take my all-over brush here, and I'm going to go into this gold shade that is called Zenith. And that's going to go along the top, along the brow bone. And that kind of just comes down to the yellow, under the brow bone and to the yellow color. And then when we're done with that, we just kind of blend it together so it doesn't look so harsh. And that's the colors I mixed and matched out of the Profusion eye palette and out of my Rimmel London Magnifies Rainbow palette. That one. So now what I need to do is I'm going to use this right here, this brush. Kind of looks like that. And I'm just going to sweep across the eyes and kind of blend together so the lines aren't so harsh. Okay. And then generally what I do is where I have to clean up, I wait until after I do my mascara, generally. But so you get the idea, I just take that same beauty blender that I had my foundation and everything on, and I just go under my eye, kind of wipe it like that so it's not everywhere. Okay. Now, I've learned that My LA eyeliner is falling apart. I think I might actually have to pull that out and use it like that. Hope I don't break it. I'm just going to go along my waterline with this gray. On both sides. A little heavier than I normally do, but what can you do when you don't have the pencil to control it? And then I'll just clean up with my finger whatever was heavy. And then I will see if I can find my eye smudge brush. You know I have one. There it is. Generally I don't use a smudge brush on my waterline, but this is a little heavy. So I have to fix it before it goes everywhere. Not the most ideal way to do it, and it kind of takes off quite a bit, but I would rather have a lot of it come off than a lot of it be stuck and ends up going in my eye. Now I'm just using my Wet n Wild mascara, and of course my eyes are running. Why wouldn't they? I just put a brush in them. That is why I don't like working with brushes along my waterline. Because now it looks like I'm crying. And I'm really not. So, most of the time I put mascara on my top and bottom lashes, but given that my eyes are watering really bad right now, I'm not even going to attempt it. We'll just call top lashes good for today. Now I'm just going to take my L'Oreal Paris, and I'm not sure what color this is. It's a pink, as you can see. And it's one of those lipsticks that you put it on, you gotta wait for it to set, and then you put the sealer on it. There, now I just let it sit for a minute. Try to fix the lines before it dries. There we go. Ooh, my eye is still watering, folks. You can see that. If I look up close, you can see it's run a little. And yes, I'm using my shirt because I'm not dressed yet for the day. I'm still in my pajama top. See, it's still sticky. So you gotta wait for that stickiness to go away. And then it has a sealer on the top here. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to take my e.l.f. big fluffy brush. You can see how big that is. And I'm going to go over with my finishing powder. And I just kind of sweep that over my cheeks and dry my eye again and go down to my neck. And I'm just kind of using my camera to make sure I hit the spot. Then I'll do my forehead. And my nose. I'm still waiting for the mascara to dry on that eye. Let's see if I can wipe the corner and see if that helps. Maybe that'll stop them from bleeding through. And now my nose. And under my eye. And that's that for the powder. And then I just tap my brush out. I also like to take my comb, my eyelash comb, and comb through in case there's any clumps. It should also make this dry a little quicker. Okay. Now, to put the sealant on. And that's that. Thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate your time. I will try to get this uploaded as quick as I can. I love you. And come visit us also over at Real Talk Recovery. I'll be there. Nicole will be there. We're all there for you. We want nothing but support. We don't want any judgment. So if you're here to judge or you're there to judge, just be off with yourself. We don't need it. We don't want it. We're not going to tolerate it. I love you all. Thanks. Bye.